Welcome fellow sim racers, and in today's video we're going to show you an easy and accurate fuel calculation for Assetto Corsa explained in less than 5 minutes. Because we've all got better things to do, like racing our sims. First port of call is to do a few laps. I've selected Spa because it's a bit of a unique situation with a very long pit lane, so I can show how the averaging of the fuel usage happens over a period of time. They've got a standard number in there already, 4.05 litres per lap estimated.
Green light.
But we'll find out on this particular car and track, being the Mercedes Evo, that number isn't necessarily correct. As I already mentioned, Spa, very long pit lane, and because of this we're doing a fairly good percentage of this first lap with the pit limiter on, and that's going to affect the fuel usage, being as we're not fanging the crap out of it, so it's going to be using less fuel. Anyway, not going to make you sit through entire laps. I'm going to keep cutting. Here we are at the end of the first lap, and we can see our fuel usage has dropped down to 4.00 litres per lap. You'd be pretty disappointed if you put this into a fuel calculator. We'll forward on to another lap. And at the end of the second lap, we're at 4.21 litres per lap, average. We'll continue on, because the more laps we do, the better picture we'll get because of that averaging, but that low first lap is still affecting the data. On to lap 3, and we can see our average has shifted up to 4.31 litres per lap. So that's a 0.1 increase. That's quite substantial. Enough to throw your numbers off a little bit. So forwarding on to lap 4. And at the end of lap 4 we can see that number's gone to 4.37 litres per lap. Now usually I'd call it a day here. That's good enough numbers to put into the fuel calculator, but for the purpose of this video we'll keep going until those numbers seem to plateau out a little bit more. At the end of the next lap we're looking at 4.4 litres, so it is still shifting up there. And one more lap just for the sake of it. So the end of our last lap here, we get 4.42 litres per lap average. Now heading across to the web app, there's a link in the description below. It's both a web app and an Android app. We're going to select Spa, going to put a 30-minute race length with a short formation lap, which is what usually happens if you're doing a quick race in the game. We're selecting refueling, but not that that actually has any effect on a race that short. Just of note, all the cars are available, the GT3, GT4, etc. We'll select the Mercedes Evo, which is what we had. You can see it's already put across that 4.05 litres per lap, which is what Kunos put into the pit as a rough guide number, I guess. Change the number, the lap time to something that I can reasonably achieve. And I filmed this a little bit earlier and mistakenly put 4.4, but you get the gist of how the app works. Now, one thing I'll mention, the web app always defaults back to that 4.05, whereas the Android app, it actually saves your data. So once you've gone through the drama of getting the data the first time, it's saved in the app. One benefit of going to the Android. We hit go and it tells us that 58 litres gets us through the race. We can burn up to 4.46 per lap and still make it to the end. Now that 58 litres, assuming you burn 4.46, you'll be on fumes as you go across the finish line. There is no safety margin built into the number this app has given you. One cool feature is it tells you lap by lap how much fuel you should have left. So you can see if you're on target to finish the race with the correct amount of fuel. Sometimes I keep in mind that by lap 10 I need to have at least 13 litres in the tank, for instance. Can usually remember one number while I'm still racing. Another cool feature of this app is, especially if you're doing longer races, so let's for instance say we're going to do a 6-hour endurance race, refueling, etc, full formation lap, and hit go, and it gives us two strategies. The first strategy here is what we'd call the high speed strategy, so assuming we're doing a full fuel burn, and you can see we've got 5 pit stops to get through it all, and we can burn up to the 4.42, 4.44 litres per lap. The second strategy is a fuel saving strategy. Sometimes it even gives you a third strategy. You can see here you need to be doing a 13% fuel save, which is not necessarily possible in some situations. The way you would save fuel, well, firstly, you ditch a whole pit stop. So you've got a few seconds a lap possibly that you could eat up on fuel saving and still be ahead because of that saved pit stop, especially at a place like Spa. But it gives you how many litres per lap average you have to be doing in order to get through all those stints, and you can see if that number is possible for you. Something that you'd have to test before the race. You wouldn't want to try and wing trying to save 13% fuel. The way you do that, short shifting, different fuel map, etc. Anyway, great little app, free. Links in the description below. Thanks for watching.